Hello, welcome to another part of the Bad Forex series. Today we are going to look at one of the most basic parts of trading plans based on smart money concept, using the powerful tool Chanjaf Character. For many traders, trading based on character change may be challenging because traders are not familiar with the key and subtle points that they need to know. And this causes them to bring a lot of risk to their transactions. But in this part, we will share some important points. Rather, we will show exactly how and where you should enter the Chanjaf Character transaction and how to find the most optimal point to enter and flourish. If this topic is interesting to you, be sure to like this video to support us. And if you are new to us, please subscribe. Then let's go to the main topic. Entry in reversals and entry in continuations. Reversal entry includes methods such as change of character and flip entry. In the previous parts, we have fully explained all the methods and rules related to the correct diagnosis of Chanjaf character in the market. If you haven't seen them yet, be sure to take a look at the previous videos, because it gives you a very detailed view of how to draw and analyze the character's chin. But in this part, we want to put all that information aside and learn how to use the concepts to our advantage and make a trading plan for each character. This project not only increases the accuracy of our entry and exit, but also has a very high win rate. So, let's go to the main instructions that we need to write so that we can change the character to a strategic lesson. First of all, we have to draw the market structure in the 4-hour time frame and mark the important and unmitigated areas and then wait until the price enters one of the price zones of the same time frame. In the next neighborhood, we will come to the 15-minute time frame to have a more detailed view of the price action and look for any signs of change of character or new behavior in the market. Now, if the price in the 1-minute time frame detects the sign of the Chanjaf character, we will go to the 3-bar neighborhood. That is, we will zoom in on the 1-minute time frame and look for another sign of the Chanjaf character. After all these necessary conditions are established, it's time to go to the last person to adjust to the exact time frame. Now that we have obtained a general profile of the main stages of the trading strategy based on change of character, let's go to the details of each of these stages. I will start from the first one. Suppose we have such a construction on a 4-hour time frame. The price is in a downward trend, and a few bearishes happened. Here we have an area of offense at the end of the structure. Check that we have a very good setup for 4 cents, which is in accordance with all our rules and regulations. In the next 2 steps, we will go to the 15-minute time frame, follow the price movement closely and wait for the price to return to the specified currency area in the 4-hour time frame and form a change-off point. After the change in the structure in the 1-minute time frame is confirmed, you need to perform several solutions in order to execute plenman trading. First of all, you need to identify and mark the price point that was created by the descending wave in the 1-minute period. After that, we go to the time frame of 1 minute and wait until the price enters the supply zone and react from there and create a new change of character on the time frame of 1 minute. Once the 1-minute wolf 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 W OLF wolf 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 W. Finally, you place a sell limit order at the lowest point of that zone. But for tick profit, we can have 2 options. Or we can aim for a higher time interval, such as the minute of an hour, or Songlu in the current time interval. These mahals help us to enter the market with a very specific rate of entry. But if you lose the character, either the price was so low that it did not allow entry at all, or even once it made a sharp move in the opposite direction without reversing the order. In this condition, the best and most important way to enter the market is to use continuation trade. For example, let's assume that for any reason we missed the opportunity to enter the market or open more positions. The price has returned after crowning the supply zone and by breaking and closing below these structures and passing through several zones. It has shown that the market trend has changed to a downward trend. If you could not enter the short position from the price point related to the price change, In changing conditions, it is best to use the SMC continuation indicator to enter the market. For this, the price must break the recent downward structure and cross this low in the 1-minute time frame to create a new supply zone. But in this case, we do not recommend to place a simple limit order on this newly created area because there is still a high possibility that the price will use this area only for inducement. And by attracting more liquidity, change the direction of movement. That's why it's better to wait until the price first forms the liquidity channel and sweeps them, then returns to the newly identified simplified supply zone. What we are looking for here is a pullback after Czech Republic, a new structure, during which a liquidity zone is formed, such as a double bottom, triple bottom or liquidity trend line just below the new supply zone. It is not known whether the price will continue to move downwards or create a new breakoff structure. After the negative tone is suspected below the width zone, we can now place a limit order on the lowest point of the width zone. Because here we have a very strong confirmation factor. If the price sweeps this negative area before reaching the currency area, we should consider 4 important conditions before executing this type of transactions. The first law: the price should create a change-off curve or a flip after reaching the price zone in the above time frame. The second rule is to be patient and wait for the circuit break and zone failure to confirm the price movement. Swam's law: when creating a break-off structure, the price should have left the amount of this efficiency in the chart. And Charm's law, which is the most important, should have static liquidity areas close to our desired area in order to have a suitable position in continuation trade. All these conditions must be fully met and there are no exceptions. In this example, all the desired conditions are written. As a result, we place the limit on the lowest point of the supply zone and set the loss limit a few pips higher than the highest point of the zone. For tick profit, we can also target the area of the untold price in higher time frames, such as 15 minutes or 1 hour, or choose Sunil low in the fairly time frame. In the continuation of the chart, we can see that the price has made a new break-off and broken the next Tagas zone, while this has left a new efficiency. So now we have a new tight currency zone in the 1-minute time format. In addition, we can see that the price has also created a liquidity line under this new zone. In this situation, it is very likely that the price will return to the top to collect the liquidity above this level, activate its transactional stub and fill this remaining efficiency. And then I will go to the supply area in the Zerum area. Now that the conditions of the continuation entry model have been established, we can place the upper limit order on the topmost point of the upper camp. And in swing low, we can specify 15 minutes as a price target or tick profit in this form. But in order to open several positions at the same time, you must pay attention to some important points so that our transactions can be controlled. First, limit the number of open transactions to 3 positions at the same time, and also remember that the size of your first position should be half for the following positions. For example, if the size of your first position was 2 lots, for subsequent entries, it is better to enter with only 1 lot so that the details remain completely controlled. Now let's go to the real chart and see a trading example. Here we have the 4-hour time chart of the Euro-USD for the general Saudi market. We can see that the price first swept the cash side that was gathered under the Ecolus, and then moved strongly upwards. The price has broken the previous main ceiling and at the same time created a bullish break-off structure, which is accompanied by this remarkable efficiency. In the following, we will notice that the price of Saudi power has weakened, and after a max position, it will return to the bottom. Here we see that the price has cleared the endowment level, and with the failure of capping candle, it shows that it has also destroyed the last internal pullback. This movement confirms that these buildings are recognized as original and valid structures. As a result, here we have a Barak EFA Sarkashir Walid. Now that the boss is approved and valid, we can determine the area of Urdu blog or the demand related to the same structure. In the following, we can see that the price has entered the correction phase and filled the remaining efficiency and is the area of our desired demand. Here we wait for the price to react and start its return. Since the price has entered the Togaza zone, Time Farame has reached 4 levels. Our next step is to go to Time Farame point, which in this example, Time Farame Panza is accurate. This will help us have a more accurate view of price behavior and look for signs of a change of character in the market structure. On the 1-minute time frame, we can see that the price was in a downward trend until it reached the demand area of the 4-hour time frame, but after hitting this area, the price returned to the ballpark and broke 2 consecutive structures. At the same time, leaving a significant efficiency on the chart. Now a very important question is raised here. Is this change-off character of a sufficient and probable type? Can we have a safe entry into the market using it? In the previous episodes, we have completely covered all the rules and measures needed to identify a quality character. As you know, the change-off is valid only if the price has returned from a higher price zone or higher in the film time and then breaks the previous main structure and starts the trend change. And this is exactly what happened here. The second reason for a chainsaw to have a high credit character and a good probability of success is that the price must have accumulated static liquidity before entering the Tagaza or supply. Here, we can clearly see that the price first swept below this level and then continued its downward path. The price must break at least 2 consecutive structures and the candles should be closed above it. Again, this condition is completely relaxed. Because after the final crown of the neck, the price of 4 cents, I was able to break 2 consecutive structures upwards. So friends, all the necessary conditions for confirming a more powerful chainsaw have been established here. The next step is to identify the demand zone created by the whistle wave in the 15-minute time frame. Now it's time to go to the 1-minute time frame and wait until the price reaches the same level as the 1-minute time frame, and as a result, a price reversal occurs and a new character change is formed in the 1-minute time frame. Here, we can see on the page that the price was in a downward trend in the beginning and that it created several breakoffs in a row, to the extent that it has hit the bottom line of the Tanform Pons minute. After hitting this line, the price has changed its direction, its downward momentum has weakened and it has started to move profitably in the direction of a new efficiency. In the following, with the failure and closing of the high price of the recent structure, a confirmed execution of a character in this form will happen in a minute. Once this wolf trap is confirmed, the next step is to identify the block camp formed by this wolf trap. Then you would place a buy limit order above the point of that line with a stable that was set a few pips below the penitter of that point. For the target, we can consider an active writer's page on the same time frame for 1 minute as a profit tick. So now that the buying trip is over, let's see how the market reacts and whether this setup trades correctly or not. As we can see in the office, when the price reaches the target area, it moves down a little, so he buys and activates it, and then it changes its trend and moves up. Now, let's check another scenario. What if for any reason we missed the entry to the first transaction or we want to open more positions? Because the structure of the market has changed, we can now use the SMC continuation entry model to take advantage of this situation to see what happens in the price behavior. Here, we can see that after hitting the Tagaza area, the price has moved up strongly, leaving behind a large efficiency and creating 2 consecutive Saudi Sarkar breaks. In the following, we see that the price has crossed the price zone in the time frame of 1 minute. Now it is time to identify the demand zone formed by the recent Saudi wave. Also, exactly above this region, the price of Tagaza has created several equal floors, which is the same equalus. This Tagaza region was built by the Saudi breakoff sector and now it was mentioned as our favorite spot. As we mentioned before, in order for a continuation transaction to be based on the SMC continuation model, 4 main conditions must be met. The first condition is that the price should form a change of character, which happened here. The second condition is that the price should break the structures and pass through the price range, which is clearly visible here. Swami states that when there is a form of boss, there must be an infection left, which you also have. And Navaten's fourth condition is that a liquidity tube should be built near the desired which is also available in this scenario. Now that this condition is met, we can place a limit order buy in the area we want, with staffless Shampib below that area. In this transaction, he uses half of the volume of the previous position that was opened from the area of Tagasa, Chanjab character, and for the target, as before, he chooses the new ceiling of the current term frame as tick profit. Well, now that the shopping trip is over, let's see how we behave in the market and whether our level is as good as the objects. As you can see below, the price moves down, collects liquidity under the double bottom, and after reaching the desired area, it activates our shield and changes its trend upwards. Next, the price will create another Saudi break-off streak, in which an efficiency has happened, and it will also leave behind the currency. In each region, we can identify the most profitable line, which is located exactly above the desired region and is creating a strong liquidity region that is ready to be liquidated. Now, if all the entry conditions are met for my reception and we are allowed to enter again, we must pay attention to the following points. Never open more than 3 transactions at the same time. And for the second and third order, be sure to use half of the initial volume and position so that the risk management can be written correctly. Now, in the next neighborhood, we want to place a high limit order at the highest point or a new black order. And for the target, I choose Kaheb, Sak and Nistani are the same songs as tick profit. From now on, we must carefully monitor the market and let the transaction proceed according to the analysis we did. Our buy order was activated and now it has officially entered the market. As we expected, the price moved up after the activation of our last buy order. And finally all 3 of our trading positions reached the desired target and closed with profit. Well, this video ends here. I hope it was useful and informative for you. If you like these tutorials, please subscribe to the site and turn on the notification bell to get notified of new videos. Be sure to write us your opinions, suggestions and topics that you would like to be taught in the next episodes in the comments.